As we head into the second half of August, we're starting to see things waking up in the tropical Atlantic. Now, we have three named storms in the eastern Pacific, but they typically see things become more active sooner than we do. But we're right on cue here as we're starting to see a couple of areas that we're watching for tropical development, even an area that we could see forming maybe a depression or a storm in the Gulf at some point next week. Now, this comes after a really quiet period through the start of August. We haven't seen a storm since Hurricane Dawn. That was in the middle of July. It's been 23 days since that system was out there in the Atlantic. Now, last year we didn't have a single storm in August, and then things really ramped up in September, and that's typically what we expect this time of year. It's been pretty quiet over the past few weeks because we have a lot of Saharan dust that's been traversing the tropical Atlantic. That dust makes the air drier. It also has a lot of wind shear because it takes really strong winds off the coast of Africa to blow out all of that dust, and tropical systems do not like wind shear. Now, playing this out into this week, we really see that dust start to lighten up over the Atlantic. Now, we might see some of that get into the Gulf by the middle parts of next week, and it could interact with that system that we're watching for there. That would create some drier air and maybe hinder the environment for tropical development. But we'll watch for that as we head into next week. Certainly a better environment for the tropics. This is typical this time of year. At the end of August, we see a spike in tropical activity peaking around the middle of September. So it's not abnormal to start to see things ramping up. Our formation areas in August, we normally see approaching the Lesser Antilles towards the Bahamas. That's where most of those named systems form, but we can see them form in the Gulf. And they also take this track up the northeast coast of the U.S. So we are going to have to watch for that as we head into the later parts of this month. All of these tropical systems are going to be competing with a couple of different factors. We do have a record warm Atlantic, lots of warm water off the coast of Africa, and look at the Gulf. We're seeing the warmest Gulf waters on record last week. So we'll be watching for that, but we're also flipping to El Nino. So those waters in the eastern Pacific are warm, which causes high wind shear across the Caribbean and therefore less activity in that region. So all of those storms will be dealing with those two different factors. We'll have to see how it plays out. Forecasters are still predicting an above normal hurricane season. The next name on the list is Emily. Back to you.